We step back in time to the majestic courts of ancient Egypt to unravel the story of a queen whose beauty and influence have echoed through the ages.
Hello there. Welcome to Eventful Insights. I'm Josh.
And I'm Nick.
Today, we're diving into the fascinating world of ancient Egypt, focusing on a remarkable woman from history, Nefertiti. But before we get started, who's your favorite queen from the history of any country? Let us know in the comments down below.
We start at the beginning of her queendom. Nefertiti served as the queen of the 18th dynasty of ancient Egypt, holding the prestigious title of the Great Royal Wife to Pharaoh Akhenaten. Renowned for their revolutionary changes in state religious policy, she and her husband championed Atonism, an early form of monotheism focusing on the sun disk and its direct connection to the royal household. Together they reigned during what is considered one of the wealthiest periods in ancient Egyptian history. Some scholars propose that Nefertiti may have briefly ruled as Nefer-Neferuaten after her husband's death and before Tutankhamun's ascension, although this remains a topic of ongoing debate. If she indeed assumed the role of pharaoh, her reign saw the decline of Amarna and the return of the capital to the traditional city of Thebes. She gained widespread recognition through her iconic bust, housed in Berlin's Neues Museum, crafted by the sculptor Thutmose and discovered in his workshop. This bust stands as one of the most replicated works of ancient Egyptian art.
Other than being a royal wife, Nefertiti held various titles, such as Hereditary Princess, Great of Praises, Lady of Grace, Sweet of Love, Lady of the Two Lands, Main King's Wife, Great King's Wife, Lady of All Women, and Mistress of Upper and Lower Egypt. Despite modern Egyptological pronunciation rendering her name as Nefertiti, it was originally articulated as the phrase, "The beautiful one has come," and likely contemporaneously pronounced Naftita or Nefertiti. Her name translates to "the beautiful woman has come."
But what about her early life? Little is known about Nefertiti's life before her union with Akhenaten. Inscriptions from noble tombs in Amarna suggest she had a sister named Mutbenret, and a woman named Te held the title Nurse of the Great Royal Wife, while Te's husband Ai bore the title God's Father. Some Egyptologists propose that he might have been Nefertiti's father, given this title's historical association with a man whose daughter wed the pharaoh. Although Ai and Te are not explicitly identified as Nefertiti's parents in existing sources, his potential fatherhood is considered plausible due to his significant influence during and after Nefertiti's life. Another theory posits that Nefertiti could be Ai's daughter from a different woman, with Te becoming her stepmother after Ai's first wife's passing. However, it's essential to note that this theory relies on speculation and conjecture, lacking direct evidence.
Another suggested theory proposes that Nefertiti could be Akhenaten's full sister, although this contradicts her titles, which notably lack the designation of king's daughter or king's sister, typically associated with a pharaoh's relative. An alternative hypothesis regarding her parentage links Nefertiti to the Mitanni princess Tadukipa. This proposal draws partly from the interpretation of Nefertiti's name, "The beautiful woman has come," as potentially indicating a foreign origin. However, this theory faces challenges, as Tadukipa was already married to Akhenaten's father, and there is no supporting evidence explaining why she would need to change her name for a potential marriage to Akhenaten. Furthermore, there is a lack of concrete evidence substantiating a foreign, non-Egyptian background for Nefertiti.
Before we get into the other intricacies of Nefertiti's life, what do you think queenship entails back in ancient Egypt? Comment down your thoughts below.
Going back, Nefertiti makes her initial appearances in scenes within Thebes. In the damaged tomb of Parannefer, the royal butler, the newly crowned Amenhotep IV, is accompanied by a royal woman believed to be an early depiction of Nefertiti. The scenes portray the king and queen worshipping the Aten. In the tomb of the vizier Ramose, Nefertiti stands behind Amenhotep IV during the window of appearance, part of the reward ceremony for the vizier.
In the early years in Thebes, while still known as Amenhotep IV, Akhenaten oversaw the construction of several temples at Karnak. Notably, one structure, the Mansion of the Benben, was dedicated to Nefertiti. Depictions in this context include Nefertiti alongside her daughter Meritaten, with Princess Meketaten participating in some scenes. Talatat's scenes reveal that Nefertiti appears nearly twice as frequently as her husband, often depicted standing behind the pharaoh.
During his fourth year in power, Amenhotep IV made the decision to relocate the capital to Akhetaten, known today as Amarna. By his 5th year, Amenhotep IV officially transformed his name to Akhenaten, and Nefertiti adopted the title Neferuaten Nefertiti. This name alteration signified the growing significance of the Aten cult, leading to a fundamental shift in Egypt's religious landscape. The transformation moved the nation from a polytheistic belief system to one characterized more accurately as either monolatry, which means focusing on the worship of a single god, or henotheism, meaning acknowledging one god without dismissing the existence of others.
The boundary stelae from years 4 and 5 indicate the establishment of the new city, Akhetaten, around that period. This city boasted several expansive open-air temples devoted to the Aten. It is presumed that Nefertiti and her family occupied the great royal palace at the city's center, possibly also residing in the northern palace. Prominent depictions of Nefertiti and the royal family are found in scenes within the palaces and in the tombs of nobles. Serving as Nefertiti's steward during this period was an official named Merir II, responsible for overseeing her household affairs.
Flinders Petrie unearthed 2 depictions of Nefertiti that seem to portray her during the later stage of Akhenaten's reign, marked by a shift from the exaggerated style prominent in the early years. One representation, a preliminary sketch on limestone, captures Nefertiti wearing her recognizable tall crown, with detailed carvings around the mouth, chin, ear, and tab of the crown. The other discovery is a small inlay head crafted from reddish-brown quartzite, evidently designed to integrate into a more extensive artistic composition.
Numerous scholars posit that Nefertiti's role transcended that of a great royal wife, and she was elevated to the position of co-regent by her husband, Pharaoh Akhenaten, prior to his demise. Archaeological findings depict her on various sites as being equivalent in status to a king, engaging in activities such as smiting Egypt's enemies, chariot riding, and worshipping the Aten akin to a pharaoh. Following the disappearance of Nefertiti's name from historical records, the role is assumed by a co-regent named Neferuaten, who subsequently ascends to become a female pharaoh. It appears probable that, akin to the precedent set by the previous female pharaoh Hatshepsut, Nefertiti assumed kingship after her husband's death under the name Pharaoh Neferuaten. Tutankhamun then succeeded her.
Earlier Egyptological theories, predating 2012, proposed that Nefertiti disappeared from historical records around the 12th year of Akhenaten's reign, with no subsequent mention of her. Speculated reasons included injury, the prevalence of a sweeping plague in the city, or a natural cause. This hypothesis was constructed based on the discovery of several Ushapti fragments bearing inscriptions for Nefertiti, presently housed in the Louvre and the Brooklyn Museum. A prior notion, suggesting her disgrace was debunked when intentional erasures on monuments linked to a queen of Akhenaten were demonstrated to pertain to Kia instead.
In 2012, the unveiling of an inscription from year 16, month 3 of Akhet, day 15 of Akhenaten's reign was announced. Composed in red ochre and spanning 5 lines, the inscription makes reference to the great royal wife, his beloved mistress of the 2 lands, Neferuaten Nefertiti. The inscription's last line notes ongoing construction at the small Aten temple in Amarna under the supervision of the king's scribe Penthu. Van der Peer emphasizes the significance of this finding, stating that it provides unequivocal proof that both Akhenaten and Nefertiti were alive in the 16th year of his reign, and still maintained the same positions as they did at the beginning of their rule. This revelation prompts a reevaluation of the concluding years of the Amarna period.
Consequently, Nefertiti's existence in the penultimate year of Akhenaten's reign suggests that Akhenaten continued to rule alone, accompanied by his wife. Hence, the reign of the female Amarna pharaoh, Neferuaten, must be situated between Akhenaten's death and Tutankhamun's accession. Notably, Neferuaten, identified as a female pharaoh, utilized the epithet effective for her husband in one of her cartouches, indicating she was either Nefertiti or her daughter Meritaten, who was married to King Smenkhar.
Nefertiti's intended burial was outlined in the royal tomb according to the boundary stelae, with the unfinished annex possibly designated for her use. However, considering Akhenaten's likely predecease, it's improbable she was ever interred there. A single shapti was crafted for her, and the unfinished tomb 29, similar in size to the royal tomb, seems a plausible initial choice for her exclusive use, though its lack of a burial chamber discounts it as her final resting place. In 2015, Nicholas Reeves proposed voids behind Tutankhamun's tomb walls as Nefertiti's burial chamber based on high-resolution scans. Yet, subsequent radar scans contradicted this, revealing no hidden chambers.
Well, that wraps up our episode. What an incredible journey into the life of Queen Nefertiti.
Absolutely, Josh. Nefertiti's story is a captivating blend of mystery, power, and ancient intrigue.
Indeed, it's a reminder that history is filled with stories waiting to be uncovered. We hope you enjoyed this exploration into the past. If you like this video, don't hesitate to give us a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel. We'll also be able to keep you posted if you click the notification bell. Thanks for watching.